Alrighty guys, we're back for Phyrexian Caverns, and this is a Lost Caverns of Ixalan Standard brew, and I'm Redcat. Let's go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. First, check out this mana base, fast lands only. Oh my, we got all 4 Brushlands in here. Hopefully the pain damage isn't doing too much to us because we have terrific mana fixing in here with Cavern of Souls, all 4 of them call Phyrexians. We got all 4 Secluded Courtyards, call Phyrexians. We have all 4 Seedcores in here as well. Add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast, you guessed it, Phyrexian creature spells. Nice. Also rocking a Who Endures, of course, Seat of the Empire, heavily leaning towards those planes. And check out this top end, guys. Phyrexian Vindicator, 4 mana, 5/5 with flying. If damage would be dealt to Phyrexian Vindicator, prevent that damage. When damage is prevented this way, Phyrexian Vindicator deals that much damage to any other target. Oh my goodness, underplayed much? Yeah, it kind of feels like it, huh? I think it really says something about the power level of Standard that Phyrexian Vindicator sees like no play anywhere, right? Let me know. Do you guys play with Vindicator? Definitely let me know in the comments. Got 3 Elesh Norn here on the top end too. 4 mana, 3/5 with Vigilance, and whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you or a permanent you control, that source's controller loses 2 life unless they pay 1 mana. That's a pretty good ability, dude. And then for 2 and a white, you can sacrifice 3 other creatures, exile Elesh Norn, then return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control, activate only as a sorcery. Comes in as a saga, the Argent Etchings. Chapter 1, incubate 2 5 times, then transform all incubator tokens you control. Chapter 2, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain double strike until end of turn. Chapter 3, destroy all other permanents except for artifacts, lands, and Phyrexians. Then you exile this, return it as Elesh Norn. Oh my. Now, I don't know how often we actually activate that bottom ability, but I went over it for a reason. I do think it comes into play every now and then. So more reasons to just play Phyrexians outside of the incredible mana base is like Phyrexian Censor. This is a 3 mana, 3/3. Each player can't cast more than 1 non-Phyrexian spell each turn, and then non-Phyrexian creatures enter the battlefield tapped. That's pretty sick, dude. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what, if we can go fast enough, I think Mono Red's going to have a real tough time against this build, man. Especially once you get that Phyrexian Vindicator down, right? Like, if they're not winning with burn on the next turn, Vindicator just blocks way too well, you know what I mean? We have other terrific Phyrexians like Annex Sentry. This is the Phyrexian Brutal Cathar, essentially. The 3 mana, 1/4 with Toxic. 1/4 is important because, you know, like Lightning Strike can't hit it. It is an artifact creature too, so like Go for the Throat can't hit it. Like Annex Sentry is a solid card, man. When Annex Sentry enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls with mana value 3 or less. That's important, of course, right? So you can't just pick up Shieldred with this the same way you can with Brutal Cathar. You know, other than that, really like the stats on this overall. And then, of course, until Annex Sentry leaves the battlefield, too. We do have some ramp in here, like Phyrexian Atlas is a 3 mana, just artifact. You tap it, add 1 mana of any color. Also has Corrupted. Whenever Phyrexian Atlas becomes tapped, each opponent who has 3 or more poison counters on it loses 1 life. Now, in this build, I built it to be aggressive, and it's actually not a toxic build, but we have enough creatures in here that have toxic that I think we'll easily be able to get these 2 corrupted, but I don't think we have enough like toxic synergies to actually get all the way to 10, but I do think we have enough to get to the corrupted, if that makes sense, right? So that little bit of extra damage every time you tap this, I think it really will go a long way in a build like this. We have more ways to ramp in here, like Myr Convert, all 4 of them. 2 mana, 2/1 with Toxic 1, and then you can tap this, pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color. I'll tell you what, man, if you're going into turn 2 Myr Convert into a turn 3 Phyrexian Vindicator, I don't think you care too much about that 2 life, man. That's that's a line of play, dude. And then we have other terrific ramp in here too. Just more Phyrexian creatures. Armored Scrapgorger, of course, 2 mana, 0/3. And it gets +3/+0 as long as it has 3 or more oil counters on it. Then you tap this to add 1 mana of any color. When it becomes tapped, you exile target card from a graveyard and put an oil counter on Armored Scrapgorger. Honestly, having that little bit of graveyard hate really goes a long way too. Taking a squee out of the equation could be enough. to keep you in the game against mono red that one extra turn that you need to get that Vindicator down or something, you know what I mean? Okay, we also have a 1 of Cankerbloom. This is a 2 mana, 3/2. You can pay 1 mana, sacrifice this. You get to choose one of these. Destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or just proliferate, because why not? No, dude, I really like Cankerbloom. I love utility-style creatures in general. And of course, it's a Phyrexian fungus as well, so it fits the theme nicely. Maybe at the end of the day, in the final thoughts, we talk about going up a second Cankerbloom. Yeah, you never know. There's a lot of artifacts and a lot of enchantments, especially, that we don't mind hitting in Standard, so. And we also have a couple Get Lost in here. This could totally be your removal of choice. The big scary thing, of course, is if the only cards you have on the board is like Cavern of Souls style effects, and then you never get to cast the Get Lost. But that's what, like, Armored Scrapgorger's in here too, right? Like, you tap this for a white mana for that Get Lost, so even if you only have Cavern of Souls on the board, at least you are still able to remove something important. So this hits creature, enchantment, or planeswalker too. It does give them a couple map tokens. Hopefully we're going fast enough to where they don't get to really utilize those map tokens though. Okay, the top end, well, not the top end, this is the front of the build. I kind of went completely backwards going over this, huh? So we got all 4 Crawling Chorus. It's kind of an excellent creature. Whenever it dies, you get that Phyrexian Mite too. Just keep on slamming face. That's the goal with the Crawling Chorus. All 4 Skrelvs as well, opting for protection for our creatures. Not really concerned that it's a legendary creature either, because Skrelv just happens to be good every time it's on the board. The big drawback, of course, it can't block, but that's totally fine, dude. Skrelv is excellent. Okay. Honorable mentions, guys. Like I said, it is not a toxic build. Venerated Rot Priest did not make the cut this time round. Skrelv's Hive kind of feels a little silly not to have at least like one of these in here. Like I said, I do think it's going to be relatively easy to get to that Corrupted too, so the lifelink could go a long way as well, but not this time round. And with all the ramp, I thought about more top-end creatures like Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines, and Essence of Orthodoxy could have been a really neat one on the top end too, but not this time round. Okay, guys, let's go ahead, take it into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. Let's go. What am I expecting from the build? I don't know. I think it's going to be pretty good, man. I'm actually expecting a lot here. You know what? I'm keeping this, dude. 3 out of our 6 planes is a little bit odd, but I think this is totally fine. Like with this hand, and plus like most of the deck just requires a white source anyways, so yeah. Let's ramp into that turn 4, huh? Let's ramp into that turn 4 and then have protection open with that Skrelv. Dude. Skrelv is out of the equation. Oh, we have a second Skrelv, actually. Alright, stick to the plan. Myr Convert. I was considering the Skrelv, of course, but... Creature of the Schism. We've been seeing a huge uptick in this being played, and I can see why. Okay, Vindicator gets taken out pretty effectively by cards like Go for the Throat. Elesh Norn's not bad. I think it's still... Okay, you know what? I'm changing my line a little bit. Annex Sentry is a good draw. Let's pick up that Preacher. And I'm actually going to get the Skrelv down too, in preparation of actually protecting the Vindicator when it comes time. Or the Elesh Norn for that matter too. Okay, Appraiser. Oh no, another Preacher comes out. Man, that's good. That's really good. So Vindicator or Elesh Norn? Probably still the Vindicator, right? Stick to the plan. Even though we kind of broke the plan last turn, this is still really good, man. Down to 16. Skrelv is open, so they got to kill the Skrelv first. We're taking a lot of damage from ourselves. All of our damage was from us using the Myr Convert, which paying 2 life is a lot. It really is, but... They could always double down on removal as well. But as far as Death Touch goes, technically if the damage is prevented, I'm pretty sure Vindicator survives, right? Right? I actually don't know how this works, guys. Let's find out together, I suppose. It prevents the damage. So, and it has to do some amount of damage for the Death Touch to actually hit. Yeah, Vindicator survives. That's good, man. That's good. I got a little concerned because they did the swing, you know? Sheoldred, okay. Well, I suppose instant speed get lost before we take any extra damage here. Sheoldred has to die regardless. This gives us a beautiful full swing. GG. GG opponent. Oh my goodness. That was something else, huh? Oh, guys, we got the deck tracker back. This is the Aether Hub one. It's called MTGA Assistant. Yeah, I thought I'd get it back. It's been a while. It's really nice to actually see the win rate up here at the top, too, because sometimes, especially when we play aggro, we get like 8 games in, and I'm just like, man, how many did we win? So, you know, I thought I'd get that back. That'll be fun to keep track of. That was wild, man. That actually did a thing, really showcasing the power level of Phyrexians. We got a little lucky there with the swing and having that instant speed spot removal in hand too. Like, it really just, it unfolded very neatly into our hands. That was really nice. We go first. I see nothing wrong with this hand, man. Might have a turn 3 Vindicator with that Skrelv protection again. Like, that is a 1-2-3 punch if I've ever seen it. Holy cow. You know what? I'm gonna call Phyrexian. Let's do this. Show the opponent what they're dealing with turn 1. Usually you want to withhold information, but Epicure. Okay. Right into Scrapgorger, I suppose, right? Over the Convert. It's less likely to get burnt. We do have the protection with Skrelv still anyways, so they'd really just want to hit our face. I'll tell you what, dude, Vindicator against Mono Red and like, we're gonna get this Vindicator down way too fast for their liking. Oh my goodness, this is disgusting, dude. Okay, we can call Phyrexian on this. Here it comes. That is so gross. Turn 3 Vindicator, protection open with Skrelv. What do we need the protection for? I have no idea. Like, maybe they'll drop a swamp, right? And then they have like a go for the throat or something. But if it's mono red, this Vindicator's gross. If we feel safe enough, we can start swinging and put them on a clock too. Lethal Demolition. Oh, go wide enough. Could still get around the Vindicator. Synthesizer. Stoke the Flames. Wow. Yeah. That's a terrific one to hit off of the Experimental Synthesizer, because they totally have it here. Take out the Scrapgorger. Is it worth going Skrelv Protect Scrapgorger? Maybe. Pay 2 down to 17. They could just hit face then instead and deal more damage that way, if they think we are going to protect it with the Skrelv. So realistically, yeah, they want to hit the Skrelv instead. Or face. So I will go ahead and protect and just take the 2. Because you never know. That is a red card. Red, that is red. Come on now. Now, the question is, do we start swinging with the Vindicator? Get everything else down. It's a good blocker on the ground, I suppose. Okay, Atlas can come down. We have Get Lost. It's not doing too much against a deck that's going wide. We better start swinging, because if I take too long to end the game, they could get a city on fire on the board or something crazy, right? So, Myr Convert. They have no toxic in just yet. Let's remember at the end to tap Scrapgorger even though we didn't use it. Because that'll still come in handy. Right out with a blood token. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If they had a city on fire, they could totally play it with all these creatures. Full swing. We are going for the blocks, man. We are going for the blocks. Even trading with the convert is fine. I guess Epicure is a little better here, right? Taking 4. Yeah, I'm not going to use... Yeah. There's no reason to use the Skrelv until we need the hexproof. Make sure we tap this. And let's pick up the Gleeful Demolition. Just in case, like, we technically don't know what we're up against. Wounders. Okay, yeah, no, we are in trouble with them going wide here. Get Lost is going to be fine. I guess I'll keep Wounders in hand. I could keep the Vindicator as a blocker. They're on a 3-turn clock, but we might be on a 3-turn clock too. All right, Vindicator, let's go. I'm scared, guys. Get Lost is open. Wounders is open. Skrelv is open. Yeah, as far as mono red goes, this is a... Ooh. I suppose I'll use that on the Scrapgorger then, right? Since they only have red, it's only going to be damage probably for the Vindicator anyways. So we might as well give the Scrapgorger that, since we have all this open mana. And the Atlas too, don't forget, so... 1 blocker, 4 getting through... If we use the Get Lost, they'll have the 2 open for the map tokens, and there might be a better target for the Get Lost. Like we could have used Get Lost on our Skrelv, gave us the map tokens instead, right? I'm actually going to hold this back, guys. Or, I suppose, what ends up happening here... Okay, I'll take out the Stoke the Flames this time. That's 1 down. I suppose I will go ahead and use a Get Lost on one of these 1/1s. The double map tokens is pretty bad, but now they're down to 3 creatures. Go ahead and use their map tokens for the turn. It's actually a much closer game than I was anticipating, yeah. Vindicator's great, but when they go wide around it, like, I could have held the blocker back too, but then they probably just wouldn't be swinging until they have a setup, you know? Synthesizer on the top. We go, yeah, no, I'm still holding that Who Endures. Okay, Annex Sentry. There we go. That blocks on the ground really well. Picks up their 2/2 that they just made. We have a swing with Vindicator. And we have 2 blockers on the ground now. So we should be fine. We just have to swing next turn with that Vindicator. So we put them on a clock with the Vindicator. See what they see on that synthesizer. Some burn would be great for them. What's that? Ooh. Dude. Nice. They don't have the mana for it anymore, though, because they lost so many creatures. That's a 7 mana, 4/4 flying haste dragon with Convoke, of course. Jivon Branch Burner. That's sick, man. That's sick. GG opponent. GG. Oh, man. That's fun. That's good stuff. So far, 2 victories. Not bad. Not bad. It's at this point in the video where I'd be like, hey, how many games did I even play? No, I'm just teasing. Guys, hey, while we are here in somewhere in the middle of the video, actually, those games were pretty fast, huh? Well, either way, down in the description, we have that Discord link. The Discord is a great place just to chat, keep the community together and whatnot. And then we also have that Patreon link too, if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. The Patreon goes a long way. We go first. These hands have been terrific, dude. Has there been anything wrong with any of these hands? Phyrexian. I'd say Skrelv over Crawling Chorus, right? Because then when it eventually comes time, like, you're ready to protect with the Skrelv regardless. Generous Visitor. Ooh, this will be a test. Seedcore. Wonder if they trade. Probably not. I'm gonna swing, guys. I don't think they accept this trade. Yeah. Free damage. It is a little risky. They could have had like a second visitor in hand and whatnot too. And Skrelv is probably pretty good against Selesnya enchantments. They do have a lot of removal. Like all 4 ossifications and stuff like that. We could chump. But there's going to be a better chump later on, probably. Okay, Phyrexian Censor is probably really good against Selesnya enchantments too. That's like the first thing they want to pick up, probably. This is a good trade for them too. Annex Sentry is going to hold off for now. It's Censor for the turn. Let's see if they trade with their companion here. It's a good trade for us, I'd say. We get a 1-1 off of the board. We get a 1-1 back that can't block. But then Censor comes down, so anything they play is going to come out tapped. That's pretty rough, man. If they go to remove the Censor, then we just go Skrelv protect it, so they want to remove the Skrelv instead. So, they can't cast more than one non-Phyrexian spell each turn. Oh, Naturalist. Which one do we want to pick up, guys? If we pick up Visitor, then we have a better swing. Yeah, they can't play anything else for the turn. They are being censored, which is awesome. Is enter tapped. So Naturalist isn't doing anything yet. So hopefully we just see something off the top that leads us to the decision of whether or not the Sentry picks up Visitor or Naturalist. Like, I want to get rid of Naturalist because of the lifelink, but maybe the lifelink doesn't even matter for this game because we do have like enough toxic creatures for now too. Oh, Brushland. Ew. Okay, let's not forget Who Endures can also pick up Naturalist. And Brushland is our green source for the Who Endures. So we should get that down. If I go... I can do that next turn. We'll go Courtyard for the turn. Phyrexian. And we'll go ahead, pick up that Visitor. You know what? This could easily be like a Tameo Safekeeping or something, you know? Yeah, hopefully letting the Naturalist survive for the turn is totally fine. It is going to be a protection spell, it looks like. Royal Treatment. That makes more sense than Tameo Safekeeping. Well, that depends, actually. Yeah, Royal Treatment. That definitely prevents the swings. We're still in a good amount of trouble here, man. Annex Sentry missing its mark is really, really bad. Brushland comes down next turn. We have Who Endures for the Naturalist, but let's be real. We're going to have other enchantments that we're going to want to remove here. So... Also, no ossification for the opponent as of right now because they don't have any basics on the board. So I would expect different types of enchantment removal then. And it would still be well worthwhile to activate that Skrelv and protect the Censor. Catilda, bro. Oh, we're in a serious amount of trouble. They have a good swing here with the Visitor too. Skrelv and the 1/1 can't block. And the other things that we have to block with, like we don't want to double block. We don't want to lose that Censor for anything, I'd say. Another sentry off the top, guys. But now what do I pick up? The Catilda? Everything's a problem over there. It really is. It really, really is. Maybe we have to start using the Skrelv to swing, get some damage through that way instead. Ah, we should keep it as protection. The ward on the visitor, but Catilda's flying is really bad too. Okay, Catilda, we don't have to pay the ward then, and we actually get to keep the Huandurs open. That's a tough decision, man. And I'd like to start squeezing damage through, but I just know that the removal's going to come down here. So Skrelv is going to just have to stick to what Skrelv does best for now. Although Skrelv does everything best, huh? Like the way that it helps you get damage through, it acts as that protection. It really just does everything it needs to. Honestly, thank goodness Skrelv can't block, right? This card would be absolutely ridiculous if it had no drawbacks. Okay, buffing the Naturalist. Come on, put that extra counter on that Naturalist again. Nice. I wonder if they start swinging then? I still think they have a terrific swing here. Like, if we double block and lose the Censor, and they just start spamming stuff out. Oh, we could have paid that ward cost, actually, guys. Either way, I want to get Naturalist off the board. So, Skrelv is a legendary creature, too. So it was making the Huandurs cost 1 less. So I could have went Annex Sentry, paid the 1 for Visitor, and still kept the Huandurs open. But I think Catilda was still the grab, right? A lifelink in the air that we couldn't block. Yeah, I don't know. Scrapgorger. Okay, Scrapgorger around. Could be fine. How do I want to do this, guys? At what point? Oh, you know what? Calyx was probably a good target, too. Calyx is also an enchantment creature, but a 4/4 Naturalist is pretty brutal. I was probably going to get even higher next turn. Start swinging. They start the removal process. They get Catilda back. Okay, we're definitely stuck between a rock and a hard place, or a rock and an enchantment, right? So, I don't know. I don't know about this one, man. I know Censor's been slowing them down big time. I know that much. Here's an ossification. Plug the counter. Let's see where this goes. And they can't double down on removal this turn, again, because of the Censor. So they would want to, I guess, just play enchantments for the sake of playing enchantments to buff their cards. We picked up Calyx last time. Their Naturalist would still be around. First of all, we might as well do this. And they're targeting the Censor, of course, right? And ossification is white. Wouldn't that be something else? I'm just like, blue. Oops. Okay, Calyx. They are offering some trades here, man. I guess. I'll tell you what, if oh, they can't play anything else. I don't want to lose the Censor. Hexproof from white. Take 5. Alright. I suppose. I really don't want to lose the Censor. They get to duplicate. Oh, duplicate an ossification, then they can take out the Annex Sentry, get the Catilda back. But I suppose we wanted to block the Visitor. At least chump it with the Scrapgorger. That gets around the whole Censor can't play another card nonsense. So yeah, Annex Sentry is gone, Catilda's back. So if we chumped, we'd be another card down. But then all this nonsense wouldn't be happening. Oh yeah, we definitely wanted to chump. Secluded Courtyard. Oh, no. That's not good, guys. Phyrexian. 6 in the air. These can't block. We pretty much... I mean... We're probably dead. We're definitely swinging with all the poison. Had I been getting poison damage earlier through with the Skrelv? Maybe, but as soon as we tapped the Skrelv down, we knew Censor was going away. And once Censor's gone, like, Celestia Enchantments really knows how to just drop cards onto the board. Maybe, if I would have chumped last turn, maybe there was a way through. And that's their one card for the turn. Like, that's so good. See, I wouldn't want to lose Censor just because I was getting greedy with the swing. They swing in the air. They swing on the ground. They swing with everything. Okay. So we chump. And again, if we lose Censor, we take 11 down to 1. If we lose Censor, they get to play something else this turn. So it's only worth the chump, right? Okay, down to 1. They get to, I guess they get to copy something still. So it's still another way to get around the Censor. So I think the best way through this game was to let the Naturalist survive and go who endures onto the Calyx. The Calyx has been doing too much for them, right? So, yeah, you know what? There might have actually been a way through here, guys. So definitely blame me and not the deck here. There might have actually been a clear way through. So Ossification takes the Censor. Now they can dump the rest of their hand onto the board. Spirited Companion. And all of these are able to block as well. Oh yeah, dude. This is one I'll have to go back and watch. See where I could have done better here. Definitely the Calyx. I wasn't even thinking twice about the duplication on Calyx being an issue. Like, as we were prioritizing keeping Censor alive so much anyways, yeah, dude, Calyx getting around that with the copies, actually really good. Celestia Enchantment's still just looking so good all the time. Teaching's coming down. That is a green token, right? Oh no, it's a colorless spirit token. So we're not even going to be able to squeeze by with the Skrelv's ability next turn either. Yeah, man, that Censor was really holding up their hand. Censor is such a cool card. It really is. Oh, Vindicator. Oh my. Hi. What are you doing here? I'll tell you what. Man, Vindicator's wild. That's so good, man. So yeah, Skrelv's not helping any of these squeak by. So we'll just keep the Skrelv available to protect Vindicator. So that way when they fly in, we go block the Catilda. We lost anyways with the full swing from them, but still. Vindicator was a sick draw. Yeah, if we saw Vindicator a little earlier too, I mean, that would have changed our lines for sure. And at this point, with all the lifelink and everything too, you're kind of relying on the poison at that point in the game, right? So it really depends. We block there. We block the Calyx, I suppose. And then this is still an enchanted creature, unfortunately, so that would still get them the copy anyways. So I suppose we go ahead and block the Visitor over there instead. And then if they had like First Strike or something, we'd block their First Strike with the Vindicator, so that way we can pop one of their other creatures after the First Strike damage goes through. But still, blocking in the air is still really good as well. Aha! I activate my trap card, the Seedcore. The Phyrexian Mite earlier, whenever we ended up... PG opponent, by the way. I forget if I dropped them the good game. There we go. Earlier, when we blocked with the Crawling Chorus, maybe if we would have kept that alive a little longer to get a better chump later on, right? I think that would... Oh, no, no. We didn't block with that. We swung. We swung into a 1-1, and they accepted that trade gladly. So maybe if I would have held back there, too, we would have had a better chump blocker for when the Calyx was actually on the board. Yeah, big changes in that game. Who Endures should have taken out that Calyx for sure, and then we shouldn't have worried about the lifelink. And then early on, that swing into the Spirited Companion wasn't worth it, and just keeping that 1-1 back for a different chump blocker would have been good. Oh my, all 3 Elesh Norns. Opponent goes first. You know what, man? The games have been pretty good so far. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. Let's push the deck to its limits. Okay, Annex Sentry. Gonna get that plains down. Ooh. Okay, well, one of our Elesh Norns for sure. Skrelv, you're a turn late, buddy. What are you doing? Come on, Skrelv. Come on, buddy. You gotta try harder next time. Now, that would have been really good, right? Just, again, giving us a beautiful lineup. Either way, hey, at least Skrelv is in hand now. Okay, I suppose we'll go Elesh Norn again. Everything else is probably going to be good. And then next turn, I'm going to try Sentry with Skrelvs, setting up that Skrelv to protect the Norn when it comes time, of course. Because right now, if we go Norn and it just goes go for the throat, then it's going to feel pretty bad, I'd say. So Sentry picking up an Informant isn't that great, but like, it's fine. It's totally fine. Tap that Scrapgorger. And you have no choice but to exile with this. It's not a you may. It does just say exile, right? Exile target card from a graveyard. Yeah, setting up Skrelv as protection for the turn is much better than just letting Elesh Norn die to removal right away. We'll keep a Reckoner raid. Oh. Oh, oh. Silver Fur Master? Oh, they're rocking rats, guys. I was expecting a discard list. I mean, Annex Sentry is pretty good. Pick up the Silver Fur Master. But Elesh Norn's probably a little better, right? For now, because we're not in danger yet. And keeping Seat of the Empire as utility land is much better too, I'd say. Okay, no attacks. Skrelv is protection for that Norn. Oh my goodness, dude. Dimir rats. Props to the opponent, man. I love it. I want to see more. Show me all the rats, buddy. Oh, holy cow. They hit 3? Off the top 5? Oh, crap, dude. They just restocked their hand a little bit too well. Also, all their rats have toxic now. Right. So, I'm scared. Like, holy cow, dude. That was something else. We have some good swings. Probably, like, take the Silver Fur Master out of the equation. Hold 1 second. I am thinking, buddy. If we take Silver Fur, that's a 1-1. That's still a 3-3. That's still a 2-2. If we take the 3-3, they have a couple 2-2s. Which doesn't block the Elesh Norn very well. They double block the Scrapgorger, which will be a 3-3 once we swing with it. The Seat of the Empire. Okay, so like, it's Annex Sentry. Take a blocker out of the equation rather than letting them block with the Seat of the Empire strategy instead, right? And then we go to our attackers. Swing, swing. We don't want to double block into the Sentry. Oh, there's nothing to... There's nothing in the graveyard, guys. Well, this is awkward. We don't talk about it. Yeah, we did get the oil counter because exile target card from a graveyard and put an oil counter on Armored Scrapgorger. Well, I thought more damage was getting through, but... Okay, second Silver Fur. Prowler. These are all cards that we knew they had. And then they're going to restock with the Rat King, too. For real, we're in serious danger. Death Touch Lifelink, that's getting on through. No blocks. Going to take 2 from that, so at least that stopped a little bit of the life gain. Skrelv still acting as protection is still probably best case scenario. Phyrexian. And I mean, it's Scrapgorger for the turn, but I'll tell you what, when this saga goes through, on chapter 3 and we wipe a rat board, is that what we end up doing? Maybe that's what we end up doing. We still have the 3 mana. Activate only as a sorcery. We get to keep the Annex Sentries around. What do you guys think? I'm doing it. Let's do this, guys. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, Skrelv. No protection open for the Annex Sentries now. Oh, do these still happen? Oh. Oh. Yeah, we're still forced to exile there. Whole bunch of Phyrexian Incubators. If it's go for the throat, it doesn't hit anything on our board. The next turn, like getting double strike on everything could be really good too. Cat King. This is scary, man. Legit. Rat's looking scary. Chapter 3 at least will be... Uh-oh, cut down. Informant, discard the Seat of the Empire. This is sick, man. Okay, so cut down number 2 would be devastating. Because this has an ETB effect too. They go for the other Rat King instead. Luckily, it is legendary. But still, holy cow, guys. They just hit 4 rats off the top 5. Am I reading this wrong? Or is something the matter here? Well, we're in danger. Like, for real. So we have to keep everything as a... We have to keep everything back, right? Well, maybe not. Maybe not. We swing with 2. They probably take it. 1, 2. They're going back down to 2. We have enough blocker. No, we're at 14. Dude, we gotta hold back. No attacks. We gotta hold back. Plus, all their cards have Toxic as well. Phyrexian Censor hopefully slows them down a little bit here. But next turn, the board wipe happens and their hand is beautifully stocked and they can go ahead. Oh, man. Okay, that was their other Rat King. Okay, so we just have to not lose this Annex Sentry because we don't want them to get that ETB again. And I'm reading this real quick. So when it ETBs, look at the top 5 cards of your library. They found another cut down. They get the Rat King. They get the ETB. Bro, okay, so far, they hit another 3? What is happening? Is their whole deck rats? It has to, well, no, they have 2 cut downs. Okay, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. If we lose the Censor, first of all, then they get to spam out more cards. But if they do spam out more cards, then it gets wiped anyways, so... I guess like this, right? We block the biggies. I guess we block everything. Everything possible. Because this is 10 damage coming through, 3 poison. They lose 2 of their silver furs. But everything's getting wiped next turn anyways, so maybe I shouldn't be double blocking here. They go ahead and go for the Moon Sage, which, what does that do again? Oh, that's going to be a 5/3. Oh, buddy, that's game. I needed to block wide, guys. GG opponent, dude, we just got wrecked by a rat build, and I'm not even mad about it. First of all, I could have played that much better. Holy cow. Hold on. One second. 1 second here. View this battlefield. I needed to block wide. We knew it was in their hand. I mean, this was a lot in their hand regardless, so I suppose I should have taken the full time to look at it. So that extra, like, we were going down really low, but that extra damage from the Prowler being a 5/3 we knew the board was wiping next turn anyways, so like blocking those rats, yeah, double blocking the rats just to take them out didn't make much sense, right? Because we just needed to block wide, make sure we were surviving even once the Prowler ninjutsu down, and then let the board wipe on the next turn, right? So yeah, dude, the last couple games, I'm not really blaming the deck here. I'm definitely blaming myself for the last two losses for sure. About 45 minutes in, unfortunately, I guess we gotta not end on a high note, but I mean, that rat deck was pretty cool. So again, props to the opponent. Looked wild, man. And they hit a lot of rats off of that ability. So I do wonder what the rest of their list was made up of, or if they just got really lucky. So they had that ETB 3 times. They hit 3 rats off the first one, so 3 out of 5. They hit 4 rats off the second one, 4 out of 5, and then another 3 rats on the third ETB effect. That's pretty wild, man. So at that point, I do wonder what their deck consisted of or how lucky they actually got to restock that hand as well. So, all right, here's the deck list again. Pretty cool stuff. Actually felt pretty good, huh? I think Phyrexians in general, like, we have a lot of sick cards. A little bit more practice with the build, and I do think I would have been able to operate it much better. There's a lot of like little things that once it's established on the board, like Censor, for example, that kind of like, since it completely changes the way the game is played, you gotta like consider it a little bit more. Does that make sense? Like, for example, in that last game even, like we had to think like, oh, if Censor survives, then they're not going to be able to play anything else from their hand anyways. But then next turn, the board was wiping. And maybe the opponent forgot about that. You never know. Sometimes Saga's flipping and stuff is pretty easy to forget about. So maybe like trading in that Censor. And then they spam out some rats and then the board wipes or something. So there's a lot of little things where Phyrexian Censor changes the way you play completely. So Phyrexian Atlas seemed fine. It really came down to not needing too much mana fixing anyways, because the mana base is just so freaking glorious, dude. Oh my. We never had any issues with the mana, right? The big thing was maybe flooding out sometimes, so I could actually see going down to 23 land quite successfully. I like all 4 Skrelv, dude. It's going to be so important. There's so much removal all the time, and you want to be able to protect like your Annex Sentries and everything. Funny enough, I thought like, hey, artifact creature, go for the throw. It's like the most played removal, so Annex Sentry should be fine. We didn't really have any go for the throws today, or maybe they did, and I just didn't know because they weren't playing it against Sentry. But outside of that, like the opponent in the last one finding 2 cutdowns for Sentry, yep, cutdown will definitely get there, and as soon as your Skrelv is gone, it's going to start happening. And so we sacrifice Skrelv to the Elesh Norn ability, which actually, I still think flipping this Elesh Norn was actually pretty good in that game. All I had to do was block a little better, make sure we wouldn't have been dying to the ninjutsu. Man, that rat deck was fast, huh? It really did a thing, and it did it really nicely, too. Spammed out the rats nicely. If we would have seen Censor a little earlier that game, maybe. If we would have seen Censor and had that Skrelv open, instead of like all 3 of the Elesh Norns that game, for example, maybe we had 2 Norns and a Censor. And if we had the Censor down and protection with the Skrelv, also Censor doesn't get picked up by cutdown too. Yeah, maybe an earlier Censor would have changed the pace of that game completely, which really says something about this little uncommon, man. I love that this is uncommon. Really cool. I love that it's a Phyrexian wizard too. I feel like we don't get to see too many wizards. Maybe we do and I just don't pay enough attention, but yeah, man, this was neat. I liked it. Was it worth the splash of green? Heck yeah, Scrapgorger's good. Then I had that silly swing in that last game too. There's nothing in the grave. I was like, oh yeah, more damage. Let's do this. It gets up to 3/3. But yeah, nothing to actually exile. The get lost was fine. Again, it could totally be your removal of choice, but we saw how important like it being instant speed removal actually was against that deck with Shieldred, for example. So we didn't get to see Cankerbloom do a thing today, unfortunately, either. And just having the Myr Convert was fine as well. Just like having 8 2-drops in here that ramps us into our 4 was pretty good. At that point, with all that extra, yeah, that's why 23 land would probably be fine. At that point, you probably just want to go up more removal, like a third Get Lost, or again, your removal of choice. That would probably be fine. Or I could see dropping a land in a Phyrexian Atlas too, going up maybe one piece of removal and maybe another Phyrexian that you think would be fine. Maybe a top end Phyrexian, one of the ones from the honorable mentions. I don't know. You like the double Phyrexian Atlases though. I just feel like maybe one would do the same job. You know what I mean? Okay, guys. Hey, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.